So we're now going down the Danish subway and we're trying out the subway for the first time. Similar to the Finnish and Swedish subways, the tunnels actually go really deep, and I had to take like maybe 3 sets of escalators to actually reach the train station. So it's really weird that they have to dig so deep. Perhaps it's to preserve the buildings on top because maybe the lack of a foundation or something, I'm not really sure, but perhaps that's a reason. Okay, just gotten out of the subway, and this is the subway that leads to a castle that we are heading to. And this part of town is slightly different from where we left off just now, but again, I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly again just fantastic architecture, as you guys can see. There's some McDonald's, there's an Apple store here, and obviously a bunch of people with the bicycles. And we're off to find this castle in Copenhagen. Okay, so while we're actually in Denmark and there's a Danish flag actually flying here, there's one flag you see more in Denmark than any. It's actually the Ukrainian flag. You can see one here, and on the other end you can see another Ukrainian flag. So the people in Denmark must be really supportive of the people right now in Ukraine for obvious reasons, and you really see a lot of Ukrainian flags just all over the city, I think in solidarity with the people in Ukraine. But again, I don't want to politicize this vlog. I don't understand enough about geopolitics to comment on it, so I'm just giving my views and commentary on what's happening around Denmark at the moment. Okay, I believe we are now at the gates of the castle, which is right here, just behind me, and I think it's going to be a majestic entrance, so let's see. Wow, even from the outside it looks really good. So this is the gate into the castle, and as you walk into the castle, this is what you see from a perspective of a tourist. Wow, look at that. These are probably the guardhouses in the past. And as you walk into the castle, you see this very nicely, what do you call this? Very nicely pedicured bushes, I would say. And wow, just take a look at this. That is quite a view to behold, so I'm happy to actually have this on footage for you guys to take a look. So the sun is coming from the other direction, so you guys have just seen the silhouette, and now that we are in the shade, you can actually see the entire structure without it being into the silhouette. So nice, not nice, right? Yeah. Awesome. Oh, and we have to buy a ticket to go in. That's fair enough because they will need the funds to maintain and upkeep the castle, right? Okay, so let's see how much the ticket costs. Hello, how much for a ticket?
125.
Okay, can we have 2 tickets, please? So it's 125 Danish kroners. And these are the friendly stuff at the castle. Okay, so after getting the tickets, we are in the compound of the castle, and you can see behind me, this is the castle right here. And this is the very nicely maintained and well-kept compounds of the castle. It is built in 1672, so it's about 400 years of age. And obviously they do a lot of constant maintenance to keep it in the condition it is in right now. So on the exterior of the castle, you will see all this, I think they call them breasts, right? Or something like that, of all these nobility and probably past kings and princes and royals that probably used to reside in this castle right here. Ooh, what's this? Secret dungeon doors. And I'm just gonna walk out into the open so that I can get a wider perspective of the entire structure. And this must be the castle compound, which I'll show you guys in a bit. Right now I just want to show you guys a little bit of how the exterior looks. This is it right here, and wow, so awesome. Right, and so it's really not a very big castle. I haven't been to many castles in my lifetime. This is probably like one of the first castles that I've been to, but it doesn't seem that big. Probably some of those villas in Hollywood would be bigger than this, but for a castle built in 1672, I think this is pretty good and pretty awesome really. So on the other side of the castle, like most castles, they would have a moat, which is this little waterway here. It's really not for boats or anything, but it's probably to keep like invaders out of the castle, right? I mean, that's with every fairy tale, they'll tell you that that's the purpose of the moat. And we have to go inside the castle, and they have all these really rustic looking lampposts and little like sculptures that are hanging out on the other gate. Oh, I can't walk past here. So there's another little moat right here. I was gonna find the entrance to enter the castle, and I think we have to go in now because that's our time to go in. Ooh, how come the entrance of the castle is like so low? I thought Danish people were a little bit taller than that. Okay, as we enter the castle, we have allocated time slots so as not to get it too overcrowded. Okay, we are finally in the castle itself, and just from first glance, right, this really reminds me of my trip to Turkey, where I went into another residence of royalty, the Ottoman Empire's castle, and as you can see, it is as exquisite as the ones in Turkey. So that really brings back some memories for me. I'll just show you guys around. It looks a little something like this. As you can see on the ceilings as well, they're all probably restored from the time of 1672. And as you can see, they're all very nicely painted and well taken care of. The floor is probably marble. And you can see that these are all probably oil on, probably not canvas, but oil on like some wooden kind of medium. And look at the very detailed pillars and columns. And you can see the style of the painting is definitely from yesteryear. And we have here probably an antique clock. So this is probably an engineering marvel from yesteryear as well. And you can see these are all handmade piece by piece. And this is probably a globe. And you can see the nice etchings of the clock tower, of the different arts from the different time periods as well. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so this is definitely a breather from what we have done for the whole morning, which is to explore the different buildings. Right now we're exploring inside of a building, and definitely it's a breath of fresh air and a lot warmer in here as well. I have no idea who this is, but it's probably one of the kings of yesteryear. And wow, just take a look at the detail of all the carvings on the pillars, on the headboards, and perhaps this could be a fireplace of sorts, it looks to be. And here's another bust of probably a princess or queen, and her name is none other than Regina. Ooh, this is interesting. This looks like a calendar. Okay, so coming in from the main room, there's a little room here that, if you ask me, I would make this place a study room. But again, it's over the top with too many paintings, and as you can see right here, there's a painting of probably like a princess when she was younger. Portraits of their pets, I suppose. Some paintings of scenery, and again, this looks what's to be a fireplace. More different carvings and ceramics. And if you look at the roof, it is also over the top decoration. And just check this out. This one here probably looks like a, I don't know, probably a chest or a study table or a portable chest that probably they use for traveling. Some ornaments like their buttons and jewelry, weighing scale. Some tea sets, probably some silver or pewter. In this really nice antique cabinet. And if you look at the wallpaper, it is also really detailed with nice flower embroidery all over the wallpaper. So I guess people in the past were just over the top when it comes to decorating their houses. and I'm gonna move on to the next room. Okay, we have here an antique table with really nice mother of pearl inlay and some etching in the middle, probably brass or silver plate. This is the fashion of yesteryears, fashion for royalty, Danish royalty. And this is probably a ceremonial sword. And if you look at the doors, the designs are also very ornate. No detail was spared in the decoration of this castle. If you look at the wall tiles, they're beautiful. And if you look, different vessels of yesteryears. And if you look at the archways, wow, even the archways are decorated. Well, if you ask me, I would never spend this much on decorating my house because this is way over the top. Let's check out the wall tiles in this, what seems to be a toilet. Wow, can you imagine this was like the sanitation of yesteryears? Yep. And as you excrete, you can actually just admire the different wall tiles because every single wall tile is probably hand painted and very, very different. It's almost a comic book plastered over the walls. And again, look at that, the beautiful ceiling with an angel on the ceiling. And wow, just insane in terms of their decor. Okay, let's get off the WC. Boo. Okay, so these are what looks to be chess pieces. Ooh, these are cute. Chess pieces, beautiful, probably ivory vase, some kind of stone carving. And if you look here, it's probably marble. Yep, it's really cold to the touch, so it's probably marble. And as you can see, wow, hello. And this is probably like a royal emblem. And if you look at the ceiling, it is seriously over the top. You can see all kinds of different art pieces of yesteryears. I wonder if these are actually maintained from like the 16th century, but it's really, really huge. This room. Okay, in the next room, this is probably like a main meeting area. Some cabinets at the back, and again, the whole over the top design from top to bottom. Floor is marble as usual, and we have all these insanely detailed decorations of all their cabinets, the wallpaper, the photo frames. And I love the fireplaces because I mean, this country is pretty cold, right? So this is the fireplace right here behind me, and we have some wardrobe of the kings or the queens, and this is probably what they wore in the past. Nothing short of having wow factor in this room as well. This is where they watch Netflix. And these are more clock towers. They are decorated all over the castle. So it's actually pretty much the same layout as the ground floor, just that they replicated it onto the second story. But the decorations are all customized to the liking of the individual that actually resides in the different rooms. Every room being insanely decorated in the most detailed manner. Okay, we're at the third story right now, and it's basically the same size as the first and second story, except that the entire space has been cleared out. And this is probably the place where they held parties, balls, dinners, and probably entertain their guests, right? And this is probably one of the thrones where the king would have sat. And of course, we can't go in there. It's being cordoned off. And this little room right here, let's take a look what this is. Oh, it's very echoey, so it's all boarded up. And these are just probably relics from the past. So all these paintings are probably of the age where this place is actually built. So all these decorations and decorative items here would probably have been from the 16th century. So wow. So obviously they would have to put a protective bubble of glass in order to protect the relics. That's pretty interesting. And that's pretty much it. So all 3 stories of the castle. I'm actually more interested to go into the first story of the castle, take a look what's there. So let's go down to the dungeon. Oh no, not dungeon, the basement. And now we're heading to the basement. Oh, wow. Okay, now the basement is definitely more interesting because, ta-da! They have all the classic, what do you call these? Rifles. And they're all very well made. There's a lot of little wood inlays or ivory inlays in every of them. And I think they are more ornamental than like for use in battle. I don't think you use any of these ornate rifles in battle. Okay, these are the swords. Wow, awesome. Okay, and these are the pistols right here. And of course, these are the body armor that the knights used to use when they go into battle. More armory right here. And these are the crossbows and some antelope's horns. And these are the muskets. I believe these are called muskets. And the crossbows are also very nicely decorated with the ivory inlay. And we have barrels of alcohol here, I guess. This is probably like a wine chiller in the past. Okay, as we move on into this little basement section, we have a bunch of Renaissance ivory. Wow, okay. I wonder what animal these ivory pieces are made from. And they are super duper beautiful. Ivory is a very nice medium to make carvings like these. But of course, with the CITES Act and animal protection, we cannot use ivory anymore. Oh, this is a very nice ivory carving of Jesus. It's even got a nice skeleton at the bottom as well, so really cool. And here we have a larger ornament with different sections of carvings all put together. And you can see the detail is just amazing. So those are really exclusive to royalty in the past, and not just the past. Even today, if you want to get your hands on quality pieces like this, it will cost you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in order to own a piece like this if you're an art collector. Okay, so for me, I used to do an antique and collectible business, but right now, I think it's time to travel and see the world more rather than collect these art pieces. This is just an amazing amount of ivory. Can you imagine the amount of animals that were killed to make all these pieces? This one here are some flutes, some musical instruments. Okay, so let's see where to go next. I'm just gonna finish up walking around this area before I get out of here and find another place to explore. Enough of museums and museum-y looking things for now. Okay, so as we are coming out from the castle over there, you'll see that there's another museum over here. So basically Denmark is a place full of historical buildings, old palaces with antiques, and museums with more historical artifacts. So it's basically Danish pastries and old artifacts. At least that's what I've discovered so far. So we're now heading to another place, which is a cemetery, which also doubles up as a park. So let's see what that brings. Okay, so we have almost arrived at the cemetery park, and we came across this little stand down here that sells coffee like this. So it's really cute. And let me just show you the entire setup. So basically it is a little vehicle like this with 3 wheels, and it's barely even as long as my body, and it's a single seater right here. You can just drive one person, and all this is basically just supplies to make coffee, and this is it. And it's very affordable as compared to the coffee shops. So if you're ever here in Denmark and you want a hot drink, come to a stand like this. So that's a really good idea. Okay, so I've reached the cemetery park, and in fact there's quite a number of people actually here taking a stroll as well. So Denmark so far for me, with half a day of exploring, it's about 1 PM right now. These are some of the tombstones here. They're basically turned into a park, and there are a lot more tombstones around here, and there are more tombstones over here. So some of them are nicely decorated. Like this one here has some flowers around it. It's so old that the names are already almost not visible. And some of the tombstones are also pretty elaborate with some landscaping done around it. Like this one here is pretty interesting. So this one here has a little bush for its borders, and as you can see, it's really well landscaped as well. So it's like nothing wild or anything, and pretty peaceful park. Nothing much to explore here, but we did Google things to do in Denmark, and this park popped up, so we managed to get a cup of hot chocolate. So for us tourists, we're just here to take in the sounds and the sights. So just show you how it looks like from my perspective. Okay, so we're just gonna have a sit and probably drink this hot chocolate, and once I'm finished with that, we'll probably Google something else to do. It seems that Denmark is really not a place for me for too long travel. Maybe just one day like this would be enough. I don't have the time to actually get out of the city to explore the outdoors of Denmark, which would be a bit more of my interest. But we're flying off to Amsterdam tomorrow, so right now I'm just gonna walk in this park and finish up this hot chocolate. Okay, so we're on a bus right now to this location right here. It's called Copenhagen Hill, and it's actually a waste management facility with a ski slope climbing wall. So I'm gonna check it out because I think it's pretty cool and definitely something different than just pastries and old buildings, right? So about one more stop till we reach, and let's go to this place and check it out. Okay, so these are some properties surrounding Copenhagen. And Copenhagen, you can see the little chimney at the top sticking out from the apartment in front. And Copenhagen is a waste to energy facility, but it's a multi-use waste to energy facility, which means they actually create energy from burning the refuse, I suppose. And they actually have a ski slope for winter, and they also have a really high climbing wall. So we're definitely gonna check out the action that's going on there. And they also have a cafe, and I could perhaps have another hot drink or hot beverage there, maybe even a sandwich. Okay, so I just got past the apartment that's blocking Copenhagen, and just take a look at this. That's Copenhagen right there. Okay, so there's this little staircase that hits from the apartment to the stairs, and I have to basically climb up this little wooden stairs here in order to get up to Copenhagen, and it's a really good experience. So I'm really thankful that back home in Singapore I did all that stair climbing exercise. So in Singapore our apartments are 50 stories high, so I took the chance to climb very regularly, right? I can do like 50 stories up to 3 times, and definitely helps with my fitness. So when it comes to traveling like this, I don't get easily out of breath, even though I'm a little bit out of breath right now, but nonetheless it definitely has helped. So, and just across is Copenhagen, right? So a lot nearer to it now. So there's a little trail path right here, right? And I think this little trail path would actually lead across to Copenhagen. Okay, so if you can actually see this little stretch of wall here, I've seen these climbing walls in shopping malls in Singapore, like Kallang Wave Mall and Funan Center. Those only stretch about 2 to 3 stories. This one here is easily 20 stories. That's the chimney for the waste management facility, and the slope, this incline here that you see, and probably this slope coming down here is probably like the ski slopes for winter. So I'm just gonna track this little trail here, and make my way to the Copenhagen and investigate it further. This is definitely something different than the museums and the old buildings that are all scattered around the city. And I think I have enough pastry for today. I've had pastry in the morning, I've had pastry for lunch. I didn't even eat a proper lunch. So I'm gonna work out a sweat and hopefully get some proper dinner later on tonight. But in the meantime, we're heading to Copenhagen. Wow, as I approach this Copenhagen, I think this is really a genius idea. So they have like this slope down here. I don't know what kind of sports they can do with it. And actually, right, if you guys take a look at the windows, number of windows on the side of Copenhagen, it looks to me like these are all like offices. So they can actually rent these out to like small medium companies. And like, oh, can you imagine if back home our waste incinerator plants actually have like an office feature, a wall climbing feature. And look at this. This looks like some sort of a skate park, but I don't know. They put in some green stuff. Or it could be a snowboarding park, you know. So during the winter, this could be like all filled up with snow. I believe so, right? And you can actually just take your snowboard, skate down. Maybe there's a ramp here, and this look like grind marks, like from the snowboards. Do you guys see? So interesting. And they have like a cafe that's open right here. And yep, this is it, Copenhagen. So I'm just gonna go to the side of it and try and explore to see what kind of sporting activities you can actually do right here. Right now, it's definitely not winter, there's no snow. But even if there's no snow, you can actually rent these little, what do you call these, little tires, run up the slope and basically have a fun time just sliding down this slope down here. So, oh, there's actually a lot of people doing it. So let me just go to the next slope. Super interesting place. So let's go on to the next slope and explore. Okay, so there's one more slope on the other end. The first one was just opposite that I've just shown you guys. And as you can see, there are actually people with snowboards and skis. They are going up this, I don't know, it's springtime right now, and they can actually still snowboard and ski down this slope right here. So they have a little business that probably does some rental business. And at the back you can see actually the incineration plant is actually having some smoke coming up. So it's literally a multi-use facility with like the office block right here. And these guys are also just gonna take the little travelator to go up right there. Okay, so apart from these two slopes and that little travelator, we found out that it's only 50 Danish kroners to rent one of those little tire things. But right here in the middle of the two slopes, there's actually a elevator that goes up to the roof cafe and terrace. So we're gonna go up to explore the roof terrace first and see if we can actually also rent some of those tires and actually just do a slide down, because the day has been really a bunch of old buildings and museums. I think sliding down on that little tire would actually be better for content. At the same time, we also want to have a little bit of fun. So let's go up right now. Yeah, it's just some, but the office is in front. And this is it. This is the rooftop. And there are actually like cable skis right there as well. And this is the rooftop garden with a nice cafe here. And look at the view, oh my god. This is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, check that out. Crazy views of the nice waterway here. Some windmills going on there with some gravel. Probably it's like a quarry site where they probably do like some sand work. You can actually smell the waste being burnt up from here. So definitely you will smell some of the incineration activity going on. And there's this little steps up here that goes all the way up. And that's what I'm gonna do. Just climb all the way up. And this is probably the top of Copenhagen right now. And all this you can actually just come and explore for free. And through this glass right here, you can see the cityscape of the entire Copenhagen. And remember the apartments that I was featuring earlier? They're just down here, and you can see the architecture is really unique. Kind of follows the ridge, which is like a zigzag line. And you can see all the iconic monuments and the museums of Copenhagen. just gonna sit here and drink free water. Did you guys come from the bottom of the hill? And is it very tiring?
A little.
2 minutes? 5 minutes? A couple of minutes?
5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes?
Okay, no problem.
No problem.
But still tough.
Still tough. Wow. So a couple of minutes for them to run up the hill, and when I asked them a few questions, they were answering me like but still they managed to do it. Interesting. I might do it later if I have a little bit of energy left. Okay, just finished up some pizza and now we're trying to walk down the Copenhagen, which is this little steep slope right here. You can also go to the free riding track right there, but I think that would require too much concentration, and I think I'm quite happy just climbing down the stairs after finishing the pizza. And now to burn a few calories just by walking down. And you can see on the way down, these are the incineration smoke of them burning the waste in order to create energy. And you can see some people actually walking down this path as well, and some people walking up the path. So this place in essence is really multi-use, and yeah, it's a great experience. I think this is a definitely must go if you're ever in Copenhagen. The bottom of the slope right now, and it actually seems that the little tire things are actually more for kids, and you can't actually bring the tire all the way up because there are ramps in the middle and that would be a hazard. So I think the tires are only allowed on the very low end of the slope, which is probably not going to be as fun. So I think I'm just going to head back to the hotel right now and do some admin and send some files to my editor, and probably call it a day because we have almost covered the entire Copenhagen. The time right now is about what time? 4 o'clock. So it's about 4 o'clock right now, and we left the hotel at 7 AM, and by 4 PM we've almost covered the entire city, plus ending off the day with a trip to Copenhagen. And I guess we're gonna call it a day for now, and perhaps catch you guys at dinner later. Okay, right now we are actually in the ghettos of Denmark, and just up this alley you will actually see all this graffiti, and this wall of graffiti actually brings you to like the ghetto where you can actually buy all kinds of illegal drugs, guns and weapons. No, I'm just kidding. It's just a shortcut to the bus stop. So don't believe everything you see on the internet. Oh, okay, free Palestine. Okay, a lot of politicizing on these graffiti. We're just gonna cut through here, get back to the bus stop and head back to the hotel right now. Probably gonna upload some videos for the editor, and probably just take a break, pack up, get ready for tomorrow's flight to Amsterdam, and probably perhaps get some dinner towards the end of tonight. See you guys then. So as we're walking back to the bus stop, you can see from the previous B-rolls that I just shot that there's a father and son playing a little bit of baby football. There's some kids drawing on the sidewalk using some chalk, and there's a very nice open space in all these apartments right here with a lot of outdoors area. Of course, the weather at this time of the year is really good for like walking, hiking, and you know, just basically family bonding. And just right across from the apartments behind me, you can see a very nice waterway as well, and these views are like $1 million views, and yet the apartments here are actually very affordable by Singapore standards, right? They cost less than a HDB house, and but they provide such a beautiful lifestyle. So I was actually telling my nephew that, you know, it would be really boring to stay here because of the lack of city activities to do, but I guess with this amount of nature and outdoorsy stuff at your doorstep. Let's take a look at this view right here, and then there's a little duck. There's this really beautiful outdoorsy area right here at the doorsteps of the apartment, and the lifestyle is amazing. We've traveled so many countries on a budget and without a passport because basically within the EU you don't have to travel with a passport, so you can literally travel across to Sweden. Tomorrow we are taking a flight to Amsterdam for about 100 euros or so. So if you're actually bored because of the lack of urban activities to do, you can actually just jump on a plane and go to any EU country. You can even go to France for a croissant, you know, you can go to Amsterdam, you know, smoke some stuff, come back here. So lifestyle is really good. So while waiting for the bus, you can even do a bit of vlogging, and it's just such a pretty place. Okay, so in the last video I said that that was going to be the last video of the day, but as we took a bus back to our hotel, we actually came across this very interesting like arts village kind of thing. As you can see, there's a lot of graffiti all over, and tons of people just taking photos. Every building down here, they even have scaffolding for the artists to do the graffiti. So I guess this is like a legal place where you can actually vandalize legally.
Yes, when you come a little closer, you cannot use this.
Oh,
just like
okay, so that was a very interesting experience. While we were walking into the supposedly art village, a local actually warned us that actually this is a stoner's village. Okay, so what's a stoner's village, for those who don't know, is that it's a compound for people to actually smoke up and basically consume marijuana. So he was telling me that, you know, if I walk in with a GoPro, they will break the GoPro and then they will break me. So that was quite exciting actually. And as we entered the compound, obviously we couldn't film, but it's basically a very arty-farty village, you know, with a bunch of Rastafaris and locals, and they all just basically have these little counters, cash only deals obviously, and they're all just smoking up. So according to the guy that basically gave us this warning, he basically said that it's not legal but it's tolerated. And yeah, that was quite a funny experience walking through a stoner's village, right? So not scary at all. As you guys know, stoners are like the happiest people in the world, so I don't think they'll resort to violence, of course, unless you start carrying a camera and, you know, start getting them on film and basically doing something which is illegal still in this country, right? So but tomorrow we will actually be heading to Amsterdam, and in Amsterdam it will be legal in certain cafes and stuff. So I might I might just pay those cafes a visit. And ironically, that Stoner's Village is just opposite the cathedral, or the church that we were at this morning, right here, as you can see behind as well. So a really interesting experience, and by far the most interesting one in Denmark today.
Freetown Christiana.
Oh yeah, so if you guys are interested to visit, the name of the place is called Freetown Christiana. Okay, so I don't know why it's ironically called Freetown. So yep, they're basically free to smoke up there. And now we are really going back to the hotel to just probably freshen up and take a rest before we head out for dinner. Whew!